Okay. So that no 2 days is the same. Every day is something different. So typical day, we already have a timetable as a year group. So I'm working in a three form entry school. So when I say three form entry, it means every year group has three classes. So it means in year three, there are three classes. So I have two other colleagues as a team, and then we have a year group leader. So we probably would have sat down at some point during our planning time and then drafted out a timetable. So when I come in the morning, I like to come in very early, an hour before the kids come in. The kids come in at 8:30, so I make sure that I'm already in by 7:30. It just gives me time to prepare myself. I like to be too prepared, like prepared that I know exactly what is happening next, because it's very fast paced and everything is structured. And children are routine now, so they already know what the time. This is the time for this. This is the time for this. So at every point in time, I need to know what I'm doing next, and always have alternative preparation in case something does not go the way it's supposed to go. You understand? So when I come in, so that one hour just gives me that time to put everything together. What am I doing? Look at the lessons again. Think about all the children in the classroom. Do I think that all of them will be able to access this learning? Is there extra resources I have to get? Do I need to print something extra? Or do I think, oh no, this particular child cannot access what we have planned? I have to get an alternative. So it gives me just that time to fix all of that together, reply emails, have conversations with my other teammates as well, reflect on what happened yesterday and see how I'm fixing it now. Because, if you taught a particular lesson yesterday and you're supposed to move on to the next thing, but you know that the children didn't get what you did yesterday, you can't build on anything. That foundation is faulty. So you have to be thinking about, what do I do to fix that so that they can get this one? So everything is like quick. So once I'm done with that, you teach all your lessons. The children go out for breaks, lunch, and whenever the kids are out of the classroom on breaks, that's when you get your own break as well. So you get your own break time. Most times during the break time, I always prefer to use that to mark. I don't want to keep it until the end of the day, because there will always be something to do at the end of the day. So I rather just get this out of the way. So I could be having my lunch, which people have told me several times is not healthy, but that's fine. It's just how I choose to maximize my time. And then, yeah, I do that. At the end of the day, if there are meetings, we have trainings either on Tuesday or on Thursdays. Yeah, mark, reply emails, and then prepare for the next day. Typically, I leave school, which everyone has told me is not still healthy. I leave school at 6, 6 p.m. because there's always something to do. It does not end, while you are saying, oh, let me go. And sometimes I want to always leave that late so that I don't want to get home and I'm thinking about, oh, I need to do this, that, do that. And then I have to now walk again at home to make sure that, because once you're in school, that time for teaching is for teaching. Any other admin, extra thing, planning or anything, you don't have that time to do that. That full on 8 hours that is for teaching is for teaching. So every other extra duties that you're supposed to do, like your planning, you have to find the time to do it. It's either you're doing it at home or it's either you are staying back to do it. I understand that the older you get on the job, the more you start trying to prioritize. Now, the year when I started teaching, I always thought I had to tick off every box and do everything, and it always got me overwhelmed. But by the second year, I was like, this is not necessary. This can wait. This is not going to impact the children's learning. I'm going to keep it and just focus on, what do I have to do now? What is the one that's pressing now? So and then I just channel my energy. I'll look at this. I'm like, you can wait for the next 2 days. I don't have to do you now. Things like that. So it gets better. And the time I also spend to do a particular task is now a lot quicker, unlike the first time where I'm always like overwhelmed. Oh, what do I have to do now? How am I supposed to do it now? Am I doing it right? But now I just like, oh yeah, I did that last year. I can do that now. That's also a typical day. And I would just add that when I was coming from Nigeria, I didn't know it was this full on. I didn't know, teaching was, was this full on, So I was a science teacher, for example, in Nigeria. So I only had to focus on only science, teaching of science. But now I'm here in the primary, you literally teach everything. Teach maths, teach English, you teach Spanish, I teach music, I teach art. I teach literally everything. So I've had to learn how to teach these things, how to teach these subjects that are not my strength, and make sure that I deliver it well, that the children don't know that I don't even have a background in it, and get them enthusiastic for it. The teaching will still be really good, but I'm sure it will not be as good as somebody who knows how to speak Spanish or somebody who knows how to play an instrument. But it's part of the job. You have to make sure that you can deliver a curriculum as good as you can, that the children can access that skill that is there. So that's like that's like my typical day, you know. Okay, so first things first, and like I've always said to those I've come across, I will tell them, be very sure that this is what you want to do. Teaching here is not just a means to an end, it's a calling. That's the way we see here, because you will still come into that space. Even in Nigeria, we complain about it not being valued, we're still undervalued and everything, but it's around the whole world. The same problem in America, the same thing we're clamoring for here. What makes us sleep well at night is the fact that there's a child in my class who every single day they come into that classroom, they have learned something. I have added value into their life, and I can predict what their future would look like as an adult. So it's a calling, So if you don't see yourself yet in that space, not seeing it as a calling, you're not seeing it as something you're really passionate about. You're not seeing it as, even if I'm paid less for this, I'll still do it. Even though that's not what we want, but you are happy to still do it. Wake up every morning and still do this particular thing. If you're not yet in that space, then take time to sit down and think about what you want to do. Because once you come here, it will test you. It will really test if your intentions are genuine. I just explained to you what the process is like. You don't want to go through all of that for something that is not what you're passionate about or what you feel you're called to do. That's what I always tell people. So don't see it as another relocation scheme. It's not. It's the same way people don't just leave Nigeria and say, I want to come to the UK to become a doctor. No, it does not work that way. Or I just want to leave Nigeria and come here and become a nurse. It does. You have to be called to do these things. So it's the same thing. And then secondly, if you think that you're already passionate and you want to upskill, the gap between teaching in Nigeria and in the UK, there's still that very big gap professionally, in terms of how much skill you have to put in place and how much knowledge you have to own and you have to embrace. There's a lot. So wherever you are, if you're still in Nigeria, just ensure that you are not settling for less. You're not you're not comfortable with basic. So, and I think that was one of the things that helped me while I was in Nigeria. I just wanted more. I just always felt like the way we are teaching, if everybody is teaching with a whiteboard, there has to be something more. So in my lessons, even when we had projectors, I'm thinking about other things. How about using a video for this lesson? How about connecting this classroom to another classroom through this? I'm always thinking about something cutting edge. And that was what was helping me to stand out. And because I was thinking futuristically, I was, looking for where I would get that knowledge, where I would get it. By the time even COVID struck, I was fully prepared. I was just like one of those teachers who were fully prepared because I already knew how to use a Google Classroom. I already knew what it was like to teach online. I just learned those things, even though I had not practiced it. It was just out of, that desire where you want to get more. There has to be more to do this. There has to be a different way. So by the time COVID struck, everyone was on like my classroom. Everyone could say, Miss Uchendu knows what she's doing. That's the only teacher that knows what is happening. But it was just me picking things here and there. I would follow teachers abroad, see how they are designing their lessons, see what they are doing with Microsoft, see what they are doing with PowerPoint. Why are they doing it differently? This seems really cool. My kids can do that, and try to adapt it. So if you are there, you can't be basic if you want to fit in here. You can't be basic in Nigeria. You have to stretch yourself, look for other ways, step out of your comfort zone, on your skill, become more of a professional. And it's not only just knowledge based, even in your speaking, in your composure, in your communication, brush all those things, there's a way you polish yourself so that when you stand in a space and you say you are a teacher, everyone looks at you. You're a teacher, because there's already a narrative they have about teachers. So when you stand and I still get that a lot when I tell people I'm a teacher. They're like, some people feel you're too smart to be a teacher. I'm like, but that's what you need. You need someone smart. It's not so much what you need, things like that. So there's a lot of personal development that you need, brushing yourself, your composure, your confidence, do all of that. Because once you come in here, these are things that come to them naturally, that don't come to us naturally. So once you're in this space, they expect that you should be able to articulate your understanding. You should be able to communicate. You should be able to do this. You should be able to use this technology. Nobody's going to teach you. Like, for example, all the technologies that we use in my classroom, we use a smart board. I never in Nigeria used a smart board. But because I'd used Microsoft Teams, I'd used Google Classroom, I'm like, smart board cannot be hard. One, two, three. I looked at it. I already knew what to do. Do you understand? So you have to be like this. So you can't be at the back burner and just expect that one day when I just come into the UK, everything, there's a lot of preparation, that personal development or professional development that you should have put in yourself, so that once you're coming into this space, there's already pressure, but you are already ahead with all the skills that you have. So that's kind of the advice that I would, give people. And also get mentorship, get someone in that space. If it's someone who is already abroad, who is teaching, or someone who that maybe has got some international experience or something, get mentorship, get somebody who is thriving up there to learn from, to pick things from. They help a lot. They help to also refine your skills, because they're mentoring you. You're learning from them. Well, this is your strength. This is the area I think you should work on. And I'm saying that because that's what helped me. I had the director of studies in the school where I was teaching, who had worked in the UK for 25 years as a teacher. So by the time he came in, he could already spot me and spot, and I remember the phrase he said to me during that COVID. He just said to me, he said, "Oh, Ifeoma, you are an elephant in a small pond." That was what he said to me. I was like, I knew it. In my head, I was like, I knew it. I knew there was something about me. And things like that, were the things that motivated me to say, yes, why can't I go to UK? Why must I be in Nigeria? That's the power of mentorship. And I've been with him, like, he still like mentors me even up until now. I tell him of how much adjustments I'm making when things are hard. This is it. And he just gives me tips and everything. So mentorship plays a very strong role, helping you see your skills, helping you see your strengths, especially if you have someone who's very honest with you and say, see, you're not ready, or I think you are ready for this, So I think those things would really help. What else? Make sure you save up money, because here, there's no free money. You work for every £1. So if you're coming here, please make sure you already have your finance ready or a plan, because it's not funny. Yeah, but those are the few things I would say. Yeah.